Hey everybody, Mama Hen back at you again with a brand new video. Today I'm going to be preparing pumpkin raisin cake donuts. So let's get started. What I have here is 5 tablespoons or 1/3 of a cup of melted butter. And I'm just going to mix all these ingredients by hand. To that, I'm going to add my brown sugar. Okay. My brown sugar, which is going to be 1/2 cup. One-half cup of packed brown sugar. Pack it tight, so it might be a little bit over, but that's fine. One-half cup of packed brown sugar. And I'm just going to mix those ingredients up. Now I'm going to be using a relatively new product, and that is powdered pumpkin. Just want to do a little test here and see how this powdered pumpkin turns out. So you can't buy it in the grocery store, you've got to go online, but here's the brand. Okay, that's what I'm going to be using for these pumpkin raisin cake donuts. All right, so I got the butter and the sugar mixed. Next thing I'm going to do is add 1 egg. 1 large egg. Okay, once you get that incorporated real good, I'm going to add the dry ingredients, and I'm going to then add my sour cream. But in this bowl right here, I've got 1/2 cup of bread flour, 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon and a half of pumpkin pie spice, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon or 1 teaspoon of brown butter seasoning. Okay. You can buy that online as well. It's optional. I just like the taste. So I'm going to add all the dry ingredients. And then also I have 1/3 of a cup of this pumpkin powder in with the dry mix. And I'm just going to stir that up. Then I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of sour cream. It's going to make it nice the donut's nice and light and very, very moist. Okay. Mix all those ingredients together. And while you're mixing those ingredients, you want to go ahead and incorporate the raisins. Now, I like to use the jumbo mixed raisins, a brand you all know and love. I'm gonna do a half a cup of the jumbo mixed raisins. Okay. One to snack on. It's gonna be a thick batter. If it's too thick, you can go ahead and add a little bit of buttermilk. So I'm just going to add a little bit of buttermilk, so hold the line. Oh, maybe 1/8 of a cup to start. Just want to thin it out just a little bit because you're going to be piping the dough into the donut mold. So just add 1/8 of a cup at a time, just to thin it out a little bit. Now, since I'm new at working with powdered pumpkin, it adds a little more density to the mix. So with that said, I'm going to add another 1/8 of a cup. So far that's 6 tablespoons. You need to adjust it, the recipe, to your own liking. You don't want it too thick, but you don't want it too thin either. And I'm gonna go ahead and preheat my oven to 350 degrees. And these donuts will bake anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes. Okay, I think that about do it. And that's what your batter looks like. It's pretty stiff. So, I've got these new donut molds. They're silicone. They come 3 to a pack, and this is the large ones. So what you want to do is, you don't have to spray the molds, but the donuts will come out a lot easier. So that's what I choose to do. Spray the molds and then lay them out on a cookie sheet because they're so flimsy, they need support. So if you use a cookie sheet, it gives it a foundation. So just lay your molds on top of your cookie sheet. And I should get anywhere from 6 to 8 donuts. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up. The next time I come back to you, the donuts will be out of the oven, okay? Hang tight. Hey guys, a little preempting of the video. I just added another 1/8 of a cup of buttermilk to my pumpkin mix. And so again, you'll have to adjust it to your liking. However, if you are using canned pumpkin, you want to go with about 1/2 a cup. I'm just trying out this new product, pumpkin powder, to see how that works. So I added 1/3 of a cup of sour cream and 1/2 a cup additional of buttermilk, but that's with the powder. With the puree, you can get by with 1/3 of a cup of sour cream or buttermilk, okay? So hang tight. So I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the finished pumpkin raisin donuts. Now, they took a little bit longer to bake than I had expected. I guess it was just because of the heaviness of the batter, which I would attribute that to using powder instead of puree. But anyway, they took about 25 minutes to bake off, but as you can tell, they are nice and uniform and just purty, You like that? So they're still cooling, but what I want to go ahead and do is top off some of them with cinnamon and sugar, and then some with a light icing. So to get that sugar and cinnamon to stick, I've melted some butter, and I'm just going to brush the top of some of these with the melted butter. Okay. I'm still pretty new to this baking with the molds. As I said on my last video, I've baked donuts before, but never had I used a mold. So this is something new for me. But it's all good. So I've got a little bottle here of sugar and cinnamon, and I'm just going to shake some of that on top of the donuts that I lightly buttered. Okay. Kind of heavy. Okay, and with the rest of the donuts, and by the way, I got 7 donuts. I originally had said I would get 6, but I did get 7. And then I've got a little light glaze here of some heavy whipping cream, about 3/4 of a cup of confectioner's sugar, a teaspoon of maple extract, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So this is the consistency. It's pretty thick, but you want it to go on evenly and to stay. So I'm just gonna lightly drizzle the glaze over the tops of these other ones. These are gonna be so yummy, y'all. So, so yummy. And you may end up with a lot of extra glaze, but you can always save that for another batch of donuts. So just let that drip down the side and cover the donut. Okay, I'm going to let these continue to cool, and when I come back to you, they'll be ready to sample. So hang tight. Okay, everybody, I am back with the finished product that has been allowed to cool. The top donut here has a light glaze, and the other two have sugar and cinnamon sprinkled. That looked lovely. That looked absolutely lovely. And now for the taste test. Well, it hit the floor. Anyway, here's the inside of this yummy looking pumpkin donut. Oh my goodness. It's super moist. So whether you use powdered pumpkin or not, or you choose to go with the puree, they're going to be super moist. The light glaze just adds another element of taste. I'm going to grab this other half and show you the inside. See that? That looks super nice and moist. There's so much flavor. And it actually tastes like pumpkin. Even though I used the powder, it actually tastes like pumpkin. That looked lovely. And with the addition of the raisins, I know everybody doesn't like raisins, but these are the bomb with raisins in them. So I hope you try the recipe. I will leave the description of the recipe with the video. And if you like this video, and I trust that you will, you'll like, share, subscribe, and allow me to continue to bring good content to you. And I can only do that if you subscribe and share the video. So that said, I'll give you another look at both of the donuts. Don't those look yummy? Absolutely yummy. Bye.